Do you think being a god of destruction is a walk in the park? Not at all, especially when you're tangled up with a reckless guy like Goku. From innocently asking for a handshake, secretly pressing the button to summon Zeno to demand a lethal tournament, to daringly calling the Omni King a Zenchan, Goku has given Beerus a heart attack time and time again out of sheer terror that the entire universe would be erased. Let's look back at 7 times Beerus completely lost his mind and all his dignity in front of Zeno, just because of Son Goku's naivety too. 1. Zeno arrives at the Twin Universe Tournament. The gods of destruction from Universe 6 and 7 held grudges, so they organized a cross-universe tournament for their broken fighters to clash and beat each other to pulp. Naturally, it was the warriors throwing hands while these two deities sat back. The whole crazy situation officially kicked off with intense glaring matches between Beerus and the god of destruction from Universe 6. Then that unpredictable monkey Goku suddenly jumped straight down into the arena. He wanted to give Monaca a chance to make his debut and step up to fight, but the hilarious truth was that guy was literally just a cosmic delivery driver man. Beerus furiously grabbed Goku by the face and dragged him away. Luckily, the assassin hit also lost his mind seeing his opponent trembling and looking utterly pathetic. He deliberately dropped his guard and took a hard dive to the floor. The god of destruction from Universe 6 looked like he swallowed a ghost pepper. He wanted Hit to suffer endlessly and go meet his ancestors right there instead of being a burden. As the other Universe 6 fighters tried stepping up, Champa was fully ready to erase them all at once. Beerus did not care at all about those mortals getting wiped out like mere insects. But suddenly an unfathomably important figure arrived to witness this chaotic underground fighting event. It was none other than the Omni King Zeno. Beerus usually fears nothing and barely gives respect to anyone alive besides showing a tiny bit of manners to the angels. However, outside of Universe 7 there are actually terrifying entities that make him shiver. The most dreadful one is Zeno, who can erase everything into the void without a single second thought or drop of mercy. Beerus experienced unimaginable dread with his eyes bulging out and cold sweat pouring down like a waterfall, because one single mistake would get his entire existence wiped out completely. In a flash of lightning, the two gods of destruction frantically flew down to properly greet Zeno. They stood perfectly straight and snapped their bodies into a 90-degree bow. Their eyes stayed wide open while sweat continuously drenched their faces. Even the Supreme Kais had to desperately drop down and press their faces hard against the dirt. Sweating nervously, they listened as Zeno gently mentioned hearing rumors about them doing unauthorized things. He noted that they were slacking on their god of destruction duties and acting like total jokes. Every single word leaving Zeno's lips made Beerus sweat intensely like he just took a bath. But it was not over yet. Weiss took this perfect chance to add fuel to the burning fire. He exposed that these destruction gods did nothing but eat and sleep all day without actually putting in any real destructive work. These words pierced right through Beerus like a deadly blade. It made him grind his teeth fiercely in pure terror. He glared intensely over his shoulder but did not dare to move a single muscle. He silently cursed Weiss in his head. Zeno then casually suggested replacing these lazy gods of destruction with new ones. These following words from Zeno felt like rubbing thick salt right into the fresh bleeding wounds of Beerus. Then Zeno finally revealed he was just joking. He admitted he actually enjoyed the fights and wanted to gather every single universe for a massive brutal fighting tournament. The tension hit its peak when that battle-crazed Goku rushed over. He loudly demanded Zeno to host the fighting tournament. This caused the two deities to widen their eyes and drop their jaws, thinking Goku lost his mind. But Goku felt zero fear and kept aggressively pushing forward. This forced the two bodyguards to quickly step in front. Beerus furiously screamed at Goku, claiming Lord Zeno would never lower himself to speak with a pathetic mortal like him. Yet Zeno surprisingly agreed with a cheerful nod. This gave Beerus another massive heart attack. This wave of mental torture seemed endless, like riding a furious tiger and violently pulling its whiskers. But the nightmare was far from over yet. Goku then audaciously asked for a handshake and physical contact. This insane request threw Beerus into another spiral of intense panic. Thankfully, Zeno happily accepted the handshake and simply left the scene. Only then could they finally let out heavy sighs. They really thought their entire universe was getting completely erased. Moving on to 2. The Cosmic Hide and Seek. In the manga canon, there was a specific point in the distant past where Zeno hosted a massive game of hide and seek across the entire cosmos. When Beerus got invited to play, you can already guess his internal dread. He was sweating bullets from pure anxiety. In this terrifying cosmic game, Zeno took on the role of the seeker while all the gods of destruction had to hide. The angels completely opted out of this meaningless child play entirely. They simply did not care at all. Ultimately driven mad by the overwhelming stress of this utterly pointless death game, Beerus just went back to his home planet. He crossed his legs and slept heavily for 50 straight years untouched. Zeno searched everywhere but could not find him, so the game was eventually cancelled. You can easily imagine the terrifying explosive rage building up inside the Omni King. Imagine running home to sleep during a cosmic game. The other gods of destruction panicked, deeply fearing Zeno would erase everything. They desperately tried to calm the furious child. And speaking of Beerus himself, well, after waking up from his nap he felt an overwhelming wave of absolute dread. He honestly thought his life was over at any second. Luckily Zeno eventually let the whole situation slide. However, because of this selfish, lazy move, the other destroyers developed a deep hatred for him. 3. Zeno makes a direct phone call to Weiss unexpectedly. One day Beerus was just chilling and waiting for his angel to cook a meal. Suddenly an unknown caller dialed the angelic staff resting on the table. Weiss politely asked Beerus to answer it since his hands were busy cooking. Beerus felt incredibly lazy and did not want to bother. He casually picked up the staff and rudely complained about people calling right during his precious meal time. He angrily told the caller to back off. Suddenly the magical staff glowed brightly and floated above the table. It projected the undeniable holographic image of Zeno. Beerus realized his fatal mistake and fell backward off his chair. He slammed his face into the dirt, feeling sheer terror. He scrambled backward desperately like a frightened prey trying to escape. Nobody expected a universe-shattering destroyer to look this pathetic. Zeno stayed perfectly quiet and motionless. Beerus finally snapped back to reality and forced himself to stand up, yet his movements remained incredibly clumsy and stiff. With thick sweat covering his face, he stepped forward to bow to Zeno. He completely smashed his stone table in the process. While delivering his greeting, his voice cracked from pure fear. The cold sweat flowed relentlessly like a river. Thankfully Weiss teleported in to save the day, otherwise Beerus would have fainted right on the spot. Zeno casually stated that he wanted to meet a specific person he had not seen in a while. The identity of this person sent massive shockwaves of panic through both the Angel and the Destroyer. It was Son Goku. For Beerus loses his mind when Goku compares himself to Zeno. Beerus is naturally a supremely dominant existence within his domain of Universe 7. He holds supreme authority over every single living entity scattered across his vast cosmic territory. To him, whether something lives or dies is just the natural order of things. He operates with zero emotional attachment. Heaven and earth are ruthless, treating all creations like mere straw dogs. He wiped out countless billions of lives without feeling a single ounce of remorse. Even though he occasionally shows his own selfish traits, he still perfectly executes his main cosmic duty. That duty is to erase the old and corrupted world so fresh new creations can flourish strongly. But ever since he got tangled up with Goku, his intimidating aura slowly faded away. Even though he constantly threatens to blow up the Earth, he has never actually pulled the trigger. After spending too much time hanging around with the Earthlings, he even turned into a temporary babysitter for Bulma. And how exactly does he treat Goku nowadays anyway? He screams about destroying the guy at every minor inconvenience but never throws the fatal blow. Goku gets away with doing whatever he wants. Instead of striking Goku down, Beerus just yells loudly and completely loses his majestic kingly aura. That makes sense, right? Goku is basically best buddies with Zeno now. Nobody dares to mess with him. It is entirely Goku's fault. When Zeno demanded to see Goku, Beerus and Weiss quickly dragged the Saiyang straight to his divine planet. Beerus sat meditating heavily on a rock with sweat dripping rapidly from his face. His mouth nervously mumbled desperate prayers. He was terrified about what that crazy monkey Goku might do in front of Zeno. One single brainless stupid move could get his entire existence wiped out forever. You simply cannot trust someone as recklessly impulsive and unpredictable as Goku. Right at that exact moment, Goku instantly teleported directly into the area. He casually looked around and asked who called for him. He claimed he was busy and did not have time to hang around saying hello all day long. Beerus fiercely grabbed Goku by the collar and roared with all his might. He screamed that Zeno-sama demanded his presence right now. Goku casually asked if they could reschedule for another day. Beerus practically exploded, yelling at this fool. When Zeno-sama calls, you run as fast as you can. A trip to Zeno Palace takes an angel 2 days, but a Supreme Kai can easily teleport there in a single second. Beerus tossed the massive responsibility of babysitting Goku onto the Supreme Kai. He shouted orders while sweating heavily but stubbornly refused to go himself. Goku teased him, asking if he was scared. Beerus yelled at him to shut up. Deep down, Beerus felt sheer terror that Goku would run his mouth or pull some incredibly reckless stunt. He strictly warned Goku to watch his behavior. The entire future of their universe directly depended on his actions. Both of their lives were hanging on a very thin and fragile thread. Goku just laughed, claiming Beerus looked ridiculously funny making that face. Beerus tightly scrunched his face while the heavy sweat just kept pouring down endlessly. He could not find a single shred of peace regarding Goku. When Goku finally returned and casually called Zeno Zen-chan, Beerus practically died of fright. His body completely lost all control and his eyes rolled wildly into the back of his head. He face-planted so hard he grew a massive burning bump on his skull. He never expected Goku to commit such terrifying treason against the Supreme King. 5. Future Zeno arrives in the present. When Goku found himself completely powerless against Infinite Zamasu in the parallel timeline, he pulled out a special magic button. He triggered this ultimate trump card to summon the most broken being in existence. It was Zeno the Omni King. After Zeno completely wiped out every single trace of that broken timeline, Goku returned from the past to properly pick him up. He brought the Omni King straight into his own present timeline. When the heavy doors of the time machine slid open, future Zeno popped his head out to look around. Beerus immediately entered a state of massive sheer panic. He was already deeply traumatized by one Zeno. Now that absolute madman Goku brought home an entirely new cosmic disaster. Moving faster than lightning, Beerus rushed right up to the time machine. He instantly launched into an embarrassing kissing up routine. He praised the king with incredibly cheesy compliments to save his own skin. Thankfully, Goku quickly asked the Supreme Kai to teleport future Zeno to meet the present Zeno right away. Hearing this, Beerus finally let out a massive sigh of sweet relief. 6. Goku jumps over to Zeno to demand the Tournament of Power. One completely ordinary peaceful day, Son Goku struck again. This crazy guy had far too much free time, so he called Whis up. He wanted to ask if he could come over for some intense training. The heavy look on the face of Beerus showed pure absolute depression upon sensing Goku. He squinted his eyes in extreme annoyance, just wondering what nonsense was happening. Whis immediately agreed but strictly demanded some delicious food as a bribe first. Goku smartly brought over some sweet daifuku. The god of destruction happily devoured the treats without any hesitation. He even allowed Whis to step out and train. Surprisingly, this monkey Goku actually proved to be somewhat useful for once. He was not just a walking disaster generator, but right in the blazing heat of his intense sparring match with Whis, an explosive thought struck his thick skull. He suddenly remembered the epic multiversal tournament that Zeno had promised earlier. Beerus instantly showed massive frustration on his face. He furiously warned Goku not to bother Lord Zeno under any circumstances. He specifically threatened him not to use Zen-chan. Goku innocently asked why he could not go. He just wanted his epic battle tournament. Beerus fiercely shouted that everyone would die if he messed around. Even Whis had to firmly step in and advise against it. But the stubbornly obsessed Goku pulled out the divine button to tease them. This forced Beerus to raise his lethal Hakai hand directly. Goku's intense obsession was recklessly dragging the entire universe into the absolute jaws of death. Goku playfully decided to toss the magic button high into the sky, but he was just faking it and firmly kept it tightly in his grip. In a flash, Goku completely vanished from the scene without a trace. Beerus was left behind, fiercely grabbing his own head. He boiled with extreme anger and bottomless dread. He had absolutely zero clue what catastrophic stunt Goku was pulling next. He deeply feared Zeno would just erase their universe instantly. When Goku finally returned with the massive breaking news, Beerus received the horrific official tournament rules. Any universe that loses the battle gets completely erased from existence. Beerus panicked furiously and viciously screamed at Goku. It was all entirely the fault of Son Goku. 7. Beerus received severe divine punishment. One incredibly boring day, Beerus was just lazily fishing alongside the oracle fish. Whis casually checked his staff and noticed a massive terrifying drop in divine energy over on planet Namek. Beerus brutally brushed it off, saying he did not care. He would much rather sit there bored out of his mind fishing than get dragged into messy, chaotic mortal problems. However, upon hearing that Goku was getting absolutely battered by Moro on Namek, the destroyer actually felt slightly concerned. He firmly ordered Whis to take him straight to Earth as fast as possible. He just wanted to grab some delicious food. Whatever happened to Goku was none of his business. He even thought Goku dying might actually be a massive blessing. But during their swift cosmic journey, Beerus shockingly sensed Meru's actively using angelic powers to fight. It was a massive violation of divine laws right inside Universe 7. Beerus was forced to heavily intervene immediately to avoid the wrath of the Grand Priest. However, they sadly arrived entirely too late to stop the tragedy. As Meru slowly faded away into glittering dust, Beerus boiled with immense burning rage. He continuously cursed Goku for this completely pointless and stupid battle. He firmly refused to step in and finish the fight for that idiot Goku. However, when Moro violently fused his entire being with the Earth, Beerus had no choice but to take brutal action. If the Earth exploded into pieces, where would he get his food? But right before Beerus could unleash his destructive power, Weiss received an urgent divine call. The Grand Priest commanded Beerus to return immediately. Trembling with endless sheer terror, Beerus scrambled to leave right away. Over at the palace of Zeno, Beerus faced severe crushing punishment for the massive chaotic mess involving Earth and Meruz. It made him even more furious when the Supreme Kai offered to sacrifice his own life to protect Meruz. If the Supreme Kai died, Beerus would vanish completely. Then both of these powerful divine beings were humiliatingly forced to act as rideable ponies for the two Omni Kings. They were completely drained, deeply exhausted, and utterly broken by their pathetic current situation. Beerus wore a fiercely resentful expression. He aggressively pinned all the burning blame right onto Son Goku for his heavy suffering. It was absolutely all the fault of Son Goku.